Goodfella Sports TV, we up in this thing, all right, man. Wanted to get to this video yesterday, couldn't get to it, man. We're gonna talk about this Jimmy Butler thing with Todd Thibodeau. It's doing the Jimmy Butler. No, Jimmy Butler has not reported to Minnesota training camp other than to take a medical examination for trade to the Miami Heat that was scrapped at the last minute. We're going to get into it. It's Goodfella Sports TV. One more time, it's your boy CJ Goodfella. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And also, make sure you share the videos. If you haven't subscribed, hit the bell icon. And we also got an NBA playlist, and we're going to have an NBA live stream coming up, the preview of NBA. And every week or a couple times a week, we'll talk about the NBA, in a live video. So y'all be prepared for that. Hit the bell icon so you get those notifications. And apparently it sounds like Minnesota and Miami had a deal. For the last 2 weeks they've been kind of trying to see if Minnesota can get Josh Richardson, a really, really good two-way player, a guy that can make some things happen, kind of like a point forward, swingman, wing type of guy. I like Richardson a lot. And Miami decided to give up Richardson, okay? And they thought they had a deal. Then Minnesota tried to renege on the deal, and they tried to sweeten the pot and get some more players. I'm gonna link the article from the Miami Herald in there saying that the Timberwolves wanted Goran Dragic, Bam, second-year player out of Kentucky. They wanted Josh Richardson, Kelly Olynyk, and a first-round draft pick, I believe. They wanted all of that for Jimmy Butler, and they were going to find a third team to take Gorgie Jang's $50 million contract, and find a team that could take on Dion Waiters' contract. So from the Miami Heat, originally I'm not sure what the original deal was. I know the sticking point was Josh Richardson. They got Josh Richardson in the deal, so I think it was something as far as Josh Richardson, Justice Winslow. Justin Winslow was the other guy that was in the deal as well too. I think the deal was Josh Richardson, Justin Winslow, Bam, and a first-round pick, okay? And Miami moved, they buzzed on two things to get Jimmy Butler. They buzzed on the first-round pick being protected. Minnesota buzzed on that one. They let Miami first-round pick be protected. So, if whatever the protection was, if it was a top 5 pick, it would stay with Minnesota outside of that. Or it was a top 10, or it was a lottery pick, it stayed in Minnesota, fell outside of that, and went, it stayed in Miami and went to Minnesota. I'm not sure exactly what the protection was, but my Minnesota did buzz on that. Miami buzzed on putting Richardson in the deal, but for them to ask for, man, that's crazy, bro. These dudes legitimately asked for, they saying the Wolves are believed to be asked for several other assets Heat's considered most valuable: Josh Richardson, Bam, Goran Dragic, Kelly Olynyk, Justin Winslow, and a number 1 pick. So all of that for Jimmy Butler, and on top of that, Minnesota, Miami would have to, pay Jimmy Butler a max contract. And also in the trade, in other areas and other sources I've been hearing, is that Miami would acquire Jimmy Butler's birds rights, which will be able to offer him a supermax deal that he can only right now get in Minnesota. Now, Minnesota must be smoking crack. Now, Jimmy Butler told somebody in the NBA, one of the sources say, that he believed Tom Thibodeau don't want to let him go. It's all smoke and mirrors. I think the Minnesota owner, Glenn Taylor, he told Tom Thibodeau directly, go make a trade for Jimmy Butler. And the NBA kicks off next week, and it's believed that Minnesota, LA wants to in on Jimmy Butler, and a few other teams. Brooklyn and New York said they'll want to trade any assets for Jimmy Butler, knowing they can get him in free agency next year. And it seems like Miami was willing to make a push for Jimmy. But giving up all of that is just crazy, man. Josh Richardson, Bam, Kelly Olynyk, Goran Dragic, Justice Winslow, and a first-round pick, even though it'll be protected. That's crazy, man. That's half the team, man. You would think Miami would try to get Hassan Whiteside off, knowing his health history and, some of the things he went through last year, which he didn't feel like he was part of the team and didn't perform. I think Minnesota don't want him because they already got Karl Anthony Towns and Hassan Whiteside in today's NBA wouldn't be able to play with each other. And he just signed a contract, so they don't want that, okay? I will understand that. But getting Bam, Kelly Olynyk, Goran Dragic, like, damn. Like, dog. And I can see when Jimmy Butler is frustrated. Jimmy Butler went in. He went to go take the medical examination to get traded over to Miami. He probably was celebrating, happy. I'm going back to Miami playing. Going back to Miami by Will Smith. He probably celebrating. I'm about to live my best life down there. And then to hear, oh, Minnesota tried to sweeten the pot. That's Thibodeau, man. Thibodeau seemed like one of them old, hateful old men too, man. Okay? Thibodeau don't want to let Jimmy Butler go. He likes Jimmy Butler. He trying to make them the Minnesota Timberwolves. He like Jimmy Butler. He don't want Jimmy Butler to go. But Jimmy Butler don't like Karl Anthony Towns. And he don't like Andrew Wiggins. So, it's a toxic situation. Jimmy Butler want to remove himself from that situation. Tom Thibodeau don't want to let him go, even though the owner, I think his name is Glenn Taylor, the Minnesota Timberwolves, wants Jimmy Butler. He wanted to make the trade happen because he don't want to lose Jimmy Butler for nothing. Tom Thibodeau want to try to make it work, but at the end of the day, Thibodeau is trying to, he's trying to curse his trade, man. He don't really want to trade Jimmy. You got a deal on the floor. Pat Riley didn't deal with you. Then you try to sweeten the pot again. That means you didn't want to trade Jimmy Butler. He don't want to trade him. Jimmy Butler, he trying to have that I own you mentality over Jimmy Butler. But for me, is Jimmy Butler even worth that much? If he hit the market next year, then I can sign him. Ain't nobody gonna give up what the Miami was gonna give up originally for him. Nobody gonna give up that. So now, not only did the Minnesota Timberwolves kind of mark themselves as a team that you don't want to trade with. You don't want to trade with Minnesota after them reneging on a deal like that. You think you got a deal done, then they try to go ahead and say, well, since we got a deal done, give me this, give me that, give me some more. And just that deal right there was just stupid. They didn't even get that. Miami didn't even get that much up for Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, they gave up Karan Butler, Mark Odom, and a couple other guys, maybe a draft pick or two. These dudes asked for Kelly Olynyk, who's not a bad player. Justin Winslow, who ain't really lived up to promise, but he a solid two-way player. Josh Richardson, who a good player. Goran Dragic, who a good all-star caliber or fringe all-star caliber player. Okay? As for Bam, who was just a first-round pick last year when Hassan Whitehead was out, he had some really, really good games last year, okay? I mean, legitimately, are they out their mind, bro? Josh Richardson, a good player. Then you ask for a first-round pick on top of that? Some of them guys started for the Heat last year, and Kelly Olynyk just signed here last year from Boston. You know what I'm saying? Well, who in the mind would give up that? And to continue the video, is Jimmy Butler even worth, $190 million contract? Is Jimmy Butler worth a super max deal, bro? Is Jimmy Butler worth a regular max deal? That's the question. In my opinion, Jimmy Butler ain't even worth a max deal, dog. Jimmy Butler not gonna go to Miami and make Miami better than Boston, make Miami better than Philly. You know what I'm saying? The thing for Jimmy Butler was if he would have went to LA with LeBron, they would have had another two-way player, a guy that could play defense. You got Rondo, who can play a little bit of D. You got Lonzo that could play some D. You got Josh Hart, who can play some D. You got another really premier defender that can handle those tough offensive players. It makes sense for him to go to LA. But Jimmy Butler don't want to go to LA. Jimmy Butler think he's the man, bro. Jimmy Butler think he's that guy. And if it's a team that needs a guy like Jimmy Butler, I think it's the New Orleans Pelicans, but I don't think they have the assets to trade to Minnesota for Jimmy Butler's rights. I don't know if that's a place that he would want to entertain. Houston is said to be able to do an offer, but can Houston do anything close? Can Houston do anything close to what Miami had to offer? No, they don't have nobody. Unless they want to deal Clint Capella, then they're going to have to get Gorgie Jang's contract back, and Gorgie Jang is going to have to be their center. And that ain't good. Okay? In my opinion, Jimmy Butler is not a super max player. He's not a max player, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's a really good player, but he didn't elevate Minnesota none last year. You know what I'm saying? He didn't elevate Minnesota none. Minnesota wasn't a great team with or without him. When he was in Chicago with D Rose, and then when D Rose was out, he didn't elevate that team. I don't think Jimmy Butler is that superior type of player where you're going to pay to him $190 million or $100 million contract. And I know the market for players in the NBA is being overpriced. I know that. That's a fact. But in my opinion, Jimmy Butler ain't a supermax guy. You know, and that's just a fact. I mean, he's not going to go to the Knicks and make the Knicks a playoff team by himself. He still need Kristaps Porzingis and a few other guys step up. He ain't going to go to Brooklyn and with D'Angelo Russell, they're going to be a threat. No. But if you take LeBron, you go to where he's going to be an instant playoff team. You take Westbrook, they're going to be a playoff team. You take James Harden, Kevin Durant, somewhere like that, you're going to be a playoff team. You don't get that vibe with Jimmy Butler. Kawhi Leonard, you get that vibe. Even coming off a year without playing, you get that vibe. Jimmy Butler is not on that level, bro. He not one of those special type of players, though. I think Jimmy Butler is more of a 15 or 20 type of player. You know, I don't think he is good as I don't think he's as good as Paul George. I think they right there. I think Paul George might be a little bit better. You know, now if you Boston, do you trade a Gordon Hayward over to Minnesota and a Jaylen Brown for Jimmy Butler? I don't know. I think Jaylen Brown could be what Jimmy Butler is without getting a super duper max contract in the near future. He only in his third year, right? You know, you paid Gordon Hayward a lot of money. I mean, maybe you could do Gordon Hayward in the draft pick for Jimmy Butler. He might fit in Minnesota. Maybe I'll do that. You know, and then Minnesota will have Gordon Hayward making sure his leg and his knee is okay. I mean, maybe that can happen. But I'm hearing Boston got their sights set on getting Anthony Davis. You know, but in my opinion, I'm not paying max dollars for Jimmy Butler, man. You know, I'm a Detroit Pistons fan. I like the Lakers as well. And I don't think the Pistons should give up anything for Jimmy Butler. Even if he committed to stay in Detroit, he ain't going to make us that much better, bro. I mean, he's just not that player. He's a glue guy. He's a glorified glue guy, all-star caliber player. He's not a superstar caliber player. He's not an MVP type of player. He's more of going to be a defensive player of the year type of all-star player, man. I'm not paying nobody like that $190 million. Let me know what you guys think. It's Goodfellas Sports TV with another NBA video. Be on the lookout for our NBA podcast. We're going to do some NBA episodes on the podcast. The link in the description. You can download the free podcast for Castbox. You go to their website and use it if you want to download the app. Totally free. Sign up and sign in with your Google account or Facebook account as well. They don't post anything to your Google, to your Facebook, okay? But don't forget, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you'd like to make a donation, the PayPal link is there as well. Shout out to everybody that do donate. Shout out to everybody who can't donate, but share the videos across social media, retweet them back out. Definitely appreciate you guys. You guys are the real MVP. Continue to live your best life. Goodfellas Sports TV. And guess what? We gone.